You gotta put the little UFO emojis, Kaylee. Hello, dragon. We have a blizzard over here happening, so we got a snow day tomorrow. So I was like, all right, I could probably do a live since I don't have to wake up that early in the morning. I'll just have to wake up to shovel, but not to go to work. They're coming. The end is nigh. But Kaylee, they said they come in peace. You don't think that's a believable face? Look how trustworthy they look. We're supposed to be in the eye of the storm, and it was legit a normal day that day. Are you in New York as well? Or you mean you guys where you're from? They already got you a bit as well. Unless I'm one of them. In disguise, I'm the grand intermediary.
Down the street. I was getting kind of hungry. I decided to get me something to eat. Now, I passed up all the chain franchise joints on Hamburger Row and stopped at
okay, where you're from.
Spoon place I always eat at called Eat. Sit and go. Get you one of those greasy hamburgers all peppered up, lay you up in the hospital for 10 days. So I ordered me up a couple of them grease bombs. Waitress brought him over, lifted up the bun, checked him out. Damn, no ketchup. So I nudged the guy sitting next to me at the counter. I said, hey, Paul, how about passing the ketchup over? Suddenly, this little bitty green hand holding a ketchup bottle came into view. And I freaked. Because the guy sitting next to me was a Martian. I ain't never run into no Martian, not at 2:30 in the morning, and certainly not at a fine scarfing establishment like Eat. Well, he was sitting over there with a bunch of sticks on his plate, and I looked over at him and I said, what you eating there, boy? Crayons? And he said, why no, they're Martian cigarettes. Here, try one. Well, about a half hour later, he looked over at me and smiled. Them old Martians ain't got but 2 teeth in their head. And he said, "How do you feel?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I do.
Love the comics. Which comics? Are you talking about my comics? Yours. which ones did you read? I think you were reading Dead Liberty last I recall. I hope you like them. But yeah, there's Easter eggs, but there's also stuff that's just, you know, um, it's dense. Whether it's foreshadowing something, or planting the seeds of something else, or referencing a different comic that I've done, like Blood Hunt or something. Yes, I do remember, and I appreciate that. I have a new project that I can't wait to announce, which will be real soon. I worked on the first page today of that, and I got the pencils done for it. I worked on my first page working on it. I'm thinking. I was thinking of announcing that on my next live. So I was gonna do this, and then the next live I was gonna do it. But I'm like, well, the next live would be on TikTok. So I'm like, should we let the guys on YouTube know first? Hello, Cheeto Dust, and thank you. I'm glad you like it. This is a commission that I'm doing. I had just done a quick sketch to end one of the lives on TikTok, and one of our viewers was like, "Oh, I'll buy that one." So, and I was willing to part with this one. Now I'm kind of like, damn, I kind of like it, but you can't keep everything, right? Yes, Mars attacks. Hello, Sleep Discipline. No, I said your name wrong. Sleep Disciple. Sorry about that. I read Blood Hunt and all the way up to Reason, but I'm not done. Okay, wow. So yeah, you got like everything then. Hello, Lovia. Did I say your name right? Lovia. I burn everything I do. Burn every drawing I do. Don't do that, Cheetos Dust. Keep every drawing, because they're proof that you've improved. They're the journey, and so you can show people how much you've improved with time. And I totally understand that, though. There was a time where I used to do that as well, but when I started my own comic series, that's when I was really keeping all the designs, because those were some of my first characters and my early proof of that. So those early drawings, if they're your own characters especially, they age like fine wine, because you will be distant enough that you're like, I could draw way better than that now, and it's not a representation of my skill level anymore. And then you can show people it, you can laugh with them when they start laughing at it, and be like, yeah, I've improved since then, and show people that you didn't come out the womb drawing like this. It wasn't just, wow, you're so talented. It's very much that you worked your ass off to get to where you are. I'm trying to put a song, I can't remember the name of it. I think I remember it. I think it's this one. Okay. Hello, Aiden. They're not characters, they are landscapes that tell a story. That's cool. Especially the fact that you're telling a story without characters. That's even harder to do. So, Dragon, which one are you liking more, Blood Hunt or Dead Liberty? Hello, Mackenzie. I did this particular live so Minion could see it, because this is Minion's drawing. But no Minion. This is not the right. We just heard this song. Let's put the other. Where is it? There was a song I wanted to put. I can't remember the name of it. Hold on, I'm gonna try one more time. Is it this one? It's not this one. Hello, Paloma. Ice cream stripes. Thing. Ice cream? What? Hello, Eric. What are you talking about? What pictures? Blood Hunt was really interesting, and I'd like to see how that goes, but I fear the conflict in Dead Liberty is more interesting and pulls me in more. I will say, for Blood Hunt, that conflict was more just getting everything started for Blood Hunt. Issue 2 of Blood Hunt would follow his more, the main conflict, and his villains and stuff like that. People have been waiting like 10 years for issue 2 of Blood Hunt. Blood Hunt, I did that in 2016, and then remastered it and did a whole rebuild and restructure. But a lot of that story was from 2016, and in 2016 I had written Blood Hunt issue 2, but I went to work on Dead Liberty and then Nadir and a whole bunch of stuff, and so ideally I want to go back to Blood Hunt issue 2 after all this time. I think Blood Hunt is probably my best bet. For people to, like, it seems simpler for people to follow that one character, and he kind of fits a more traditional kind of looking superhero, a little bit on the surface at least. You know, but we'll see, especially now with my new project that I will be starting. But I think I can juggle that project and continue what I was doing with wrapping up Nadir, and then jumping back to Dead Liberty, and then trying to get Blood Hunt issue 2 out. I love the cows. Thank you. I'm glad you like that. That's the campy element of it. Mars Attacks is just so fun. Oh yeah, I know. We have a blizzard coming. I'm so sad. Yes, the ack. Thank you, Bunch. I'm glad you like it. I should mention I have a free-to-read comic that people can read on the Graveyard Comics Facebook page or here on TikTok. Oh, we're not on TikTok. We're on YouTube. On my TikTok, if you have TikTok, I have a playlist there called Nadir Archives. Now, Nadir Archives is the name of my anthology series, and that is a sci-fi war comic. To put it more simple than it's than it deserves to be, but there's a lot going on with that one. And I have a couple issues out: Sleepwalker, Silver Cord, Operation Judas, Section 6, Part 1, 2, and I'm working on Part 3. And that will be every 5 pages or so I complete. I'll be posting those. And then when I finish Part 3, I'll sell a collected edition. And the first 100 people to buy that, I'll be sending out a little free card, a certificate card. I can show those if people are interested in that. And those are done like with a Sharpie, so like simple sketches. I'll show this now. So those would look like this. I kind of was thinking they'd be like when I saw like some comic artists, they would do autographs. Sometimes they'll do a quick sketch of their characters. So here's just the rifleman armor for that comic. So I did 100 of those. I don't expect 100 sales, but it would be cool. So those might last for some time. Those are done on like business card size. So that's pretty small. That is 2 inches by 3.5 inches. So a little bit slimmer than a standard trading card. But I'm trying to remember the name of the song. Give me 1 second. I'll read the comments. I'm so sad I can't remember it. It's alright. Let's just get some alien music. I'll settle for this. Okay, let's read the comments. The movie was good, yeah. The Tim Burton movie. They started out as trading cards. You deserve more likes on everything I've seen you do. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thank you, Shade. And hello, Caitlin. The little cow. It'll look more cow-like when I get to it, inking it. I'll like put the form a little bit better. Why are you drawing aliens? Gita, did I say your name right? Are you still here? I'm sad I didn't respond to this sooner. I very much would like to have this discussion. I'm not saying that I don't like my compliments, but it is always interesting to have a new conversation, you know? Alright, let's get back to the comments. Waste your time drawing them. I'm getting paid for this one, so I don't know. Does getting money count as a waste of time? I love it. Getting paid to do what you love is a waste of time? I think that's the pursuit of joy. We might have different definitions of waste of time. I hope to get one of those autographs one day. Cheeto does. there's a couple of things. But as far as those free cards that I showed, um, that would be once I put out that book, and that would be on Amazon. But there's other ways to get certain cards. Right now, I'm doing similar cards to those, but with my Dead Liberty characters. And these I call my event exclusive cards. So I do have a Patreon, and for anyone who joins the any of the paid tiers can join. I'll be sending one of these in for free with that. Um, Mentioning the Patreon real quick. I post a bunch of stuff. I'm kind of treating it like a personal kind of Facebook kind of thing, but cool stuff, not boring stuff, just like artwork or things I find interesting. Um, and also, for the paid tier, that's $3. I post like artwork that I'm not posting, certain concept art stuff, or early looks at things, so people get to see stuff that I'm not going to announce anywhere else right away. Then there's the $10 tier, and the $10 tier is where you get like my sketch cards. So here's an example of one, and here's one from the Nadir series, and this one's from Dead Liberty. And so the back of the card will say the character's name, the series they're from, the universe they're from. It'll say first official. Yours would say second year sketch card, because this is now my second year on Patreon, and then I write my name in here. And then I'd show you guys like the list to pick from, which would be a couple of Dead Liberty characters, some Blood Hunt, some villains, some Nadir stuff. So that would be drawn. And these are actual like 2.5 by 3.5 size, so that they would fit in sleeves, as you can see here. And I will be adding a new line of characters to these official sketch card options, which is pretty cool. So again, just to reiterate, because I was talking a lot, that's the $10 tier. The $15 tier, I color those your sketch card, and you can cancel whenever you want. But when you first join for any of the tiers that are paid, I'll also throw in one of these free cards. And so it'll say one of one single. So like different people could get the same card of this one, and because I'm using a light box to trace the main form, and then I'll freehand the rest of the details and the shading and stuff. So that just helps me make sure that you get what you're paying for. Which one you want. You're like, I want that character, so it will look like this. And so what makes that kind of valuable as time goes on is my first year on the Patreon's over. So anyone who has that and is like, oh, but that guy has the same card as me. Well, yours will say first year, or right now, everyone's starting out because we're on the second year. Yours would probably say second year. So I've designed them to kind of age nicely with time. But these, they're just one of a kind. I just draw them with a Sharpie real quick. Pretty simple. And then these are certificate sketch cards. So anyways, yeah, that's what I do. So if it's a 1-of-1 card, I like to sign those with a red marker, while my typical ones I like to sign with a green marker. I'm just trying to put them back in the box. Okay, so let me put these away. All right, so that's that. I have a Discord channel as well for anyone who wants to join that. Link in the bio on my TikTok. I gotta put the link somewhere on YouTube. But we have the coolest people on the Discord. A lot of the people that we've met from TikTok, and now some people even from YouTube, which is really cool. are over there. You can post your own artwork in the general art channel. Fan art of my characters goes in the fan art channel along with whatever accounts you would like credited. And then certain times, well, first of all, they'll also get posted on the Graveyard Comics Facebook page and Instagram. But there are times where I do take fan art and I post them, publish them in the printed books. So I feature them in the books sometimes, depending on, when my book comes out and the requirements. Oftentimes the requirements are just like, this book, everyone's drawing Wraith, just so we can see that character in different art styles. Or this book, we're doing the Liberator. Or this book, you can draw whichever character you like that has been appeared in the story so far. So I would let you guys know. Okay, let's read the comments. Okay. I'm back for a little minute. Sleep Dude, I'm sorry. Sleep Disciple, are you still here? I'm reading these comments. I do read everyone's comment. It just, I read everyone's comment, and then I give everyone the proper time I feel like it takes me to respond. And I'm a chatterbox. What's the term? Chatterbox? Is that the word? It feels wrong. I'm a motor mouth, so there's no simple response for me. Burn my art, I don't care if it's good or bad. That makes the value of the survivors still good. I had a terrible headache all day. You're probably dehydrated. You need some water, most likely. I hope you feel better. I hate headaches. It's the worst thing ever. It gets burned because I hate all my work. I have 2 pieces that aren't burned. Do you sell any of them or plan to sell them? You might not want to burn them if you're selling artwork. We are here with you all. We're watching you. I'm glad you like it, Hyper. I've done another Mars Attacks drawing. Are you a publisher by chance? I publish my own works. And right now I'm trying to really get my own books off the ground, which I have a couple of books out, but definitely not the ways of, I can't, like, I wouldn't be able to publish other people's work, if that makes sense. My most recent progress in terms of like professional, exposure and that, I've been working with Dynamite Comics lately, and I've been working on sketch cards with them, and so I've worked on Transformers 40th anniversary sketch cards, and that was my first time working with Dynamite. I worked on, when Pope Leo became the Pope, I worked on some sketch cards of him, and then Red Sonja for the 20th anniversary. Most recently, I worked on sketch covers with Dynamite, and they're going to be sending me another 20 to work on. And my newest project with Dynamite will be sketch covers for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and the IP owners of Rudolph. I'm just waiting for all them to check the artwork samples and approve them. But here's my samples. So here's the Bumble, the Abominable Snowman, or Snow Monster. Here's the Misfit Plane, and here's the Misfit Scooter. So hopefully they approve those, and then they'll send me their cards, and they'll have printing on the back, and then I'll just redraw that. I'll also have to color it. So here is my sample of the colors. I made copies to color the copies, and I made them kind of larger by accident, but that's fine. So that's that. So I'm just waiting for them to approve the drawings. But I'll be working on these with the light box. So these are Bristol board cards. The other ones I was showing for my cards and stuff were cardstock. So the markers didn't go through those. But if I try to do it with these, the marker might go through a little bit. Zombie Mars attacks. Zombie Martians sound cool. I wish I got paid to draw. Holy crap. You can get paid to draw, especially starting out with like commissions and stuff like that. Um I think there is a desire for art. Um and also depending on what kind of thing you draw, you have to know your audience. For me, I do comic books, and so my audience kind of likes this more sci-fi kind of stuff or fantasy type of thing. Tim Burton in the 90s was so great. Already thinking about his Batman. Yes, I was getting paid for everything I showed. Um, so yeah, that's a little. I'm happy about that. So Dynamite Comics. I've been working on. Wow, I just like brain farted. With Dynamite Comics, as far as sketch cards go, Transformers, The Pope, Red Sonja, and upcoming Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, as well as the sketch covers. I'm really hoping to get a Mars Attacks sketch cover. That would be really fun to do. That's on my list. But I don't get to pick them. They pick it. There's also a YouTube channel called the EXP Live. I will be featured this Monday, probably, I think, and Wednesday. And the sketch covers I just finished, they may go over those and show those. So I'm definitely going to be there on the EXP Live on YouTube. So maybe drop them a follow and watch them on Monday and Wednesday. You might see my work. You might see me in the comments lurking. Dead Liberty, that's Helldivers. Oh, that breaks my heart when we say that. Dead Liberty came out in I was working on Dead Liberty in 2012. And I didn't steal my plot from from Starship Troopers, just saying. Helldivers looks cool as hell, though. But, yeah. I feel like Ultron, when he gets compared to Iron Man, he's like, well, I'm not one of Stark's. Why does everyone think... Do I look like Iron Man to you? That's how I feel. I just Betty Boop with my 2 raisin scoops in my Fruit Loops like soup. Now I serve the coup. I had to like a chicken coup. Is this a rap? I'm just a zombie officer. I mean, I can, but I don't know. I feel like I would avoid it. And thank you, Alyssa. Okay. And thank you, Animal. I thought that sound was coming from my window. She was like, today's the day. Kaylee having a mini heart attack. Drinking 72 ounces of water 3 times a day. Do I have to track? And I won't go away. Kind of thinking bronchitis. Uh-oh. Maybe take Tylenol or something. I feel like a school nurse, I don't want to diagnose you with anything. I'll just, here's some ice. Try to sleep it off. Give your eyes a break. What level of comic book artist do you consider yourself, and why are you different than others in this area of your career? I'm thinking of doing my lives on YouTube more often. We're getting some cool intellectual conversations. I like this. Do I have any of my comics nearby? Yes, I do. Let me get one. Oh, let's grab Blood High. Okay. So what sets me apart from other comic book artists is I hate myself, and I give myself a lot of work. But I do like superhero war stories. So they're war stories first, superhero stories second. So I think that's what sets me apart the most from other comic books, especially for the superhero stuff. Because you're like, oh, but Jake, Captain America's a super soldier. Deathstroke is a super soldier. And they use guns. And I say, well, I feel like being a super soldier is just a means to an end with a lot of Marvel, DC, and other stuff like that. It's like it's just to explain how the character knows how to fight and use weapons and stuff. We rarely ever really see them in a war setting. Now we had Captain America in World War II, but that's a bit different. And so with my characters, they're going to be using, like, for the most part, the same weapons as the guys they're going up against. And I really try to stay away from like overpowered stuff. I feel like originally it wasn't even going to be a superhero comic. The idea of making superheroes was more so it felt more believable for me as a writer that my character can survive so many battles without getting smoked. You know what I mean? So, Bloodhunt here is a Black Ops super soldier. So he's in his series Bloodhunt is a companion series to my main series Dead Liberty, and Dead Liberty we follow like a team of characters and stuff. Bloodhunt is like a one-man army, and I think of Bloodhunt kind of like he's got the strength of Captain America, the infrastructure of Judge Dredd, so the weapons and training of like the Punisher, but Punisher is like a vigilante. Judge Dredd, he like takes orders, you know what I mean, and he has like a team and stuff like that. So he's kind of like Judge Dredd in that sense. And he's got gadgets like Batman, except his gadgets are lethal, and he is kind of trained in like a bunch of different weapons and vehicles. So that's pretty fun. Another thing that I think sets me out apart from other comics is vehicles and weapons and stuff like that. I really try to stay consistent across these books, and not just consistent, but drawing them the same way. So in terms of like size, proportion to the character. So the rifle is not looking big in one panel, small in the other panel, especially because if you do see one looking larger than the other one, it's because one of them is like a carbine variant or whatever. And so here he's got his SMG. That's his desert suit. And then same with the classes of troopers and soldiers and stuff like that. Like, it's not just a bunch of guys with guns running around. I like this panel here. Where is it? Give me 1 second. He's got the SMG. But yeah, so with my characters being not like overpowered, I remember showing one of my art teachers. No, it was my science teacher. One of my drawings of my characters, and she was like, "So what's his weakness?" I was like, "A good bullet will put him down." The thing about Bloodhunt being like a super strong super soldier, you don't look the same after getting into like a fist fight with him. I like this part here. You like gets him in the gut, and then just brings it up, and just shreds. But let's also take a look at the other one, the Dead Liberty story. So the main character of Dead Liberty has like angel wings. Now this is an older book, so let me see. Do I have the other one? Dead Liberty issue 1 was published in 2018. Issue 0 was published in 2018. So issue 0 was published in 2018 as well. But issue 0, I remastered that one in like 2022 or 2022, I think it was, or 2023. I think it was 2022. I remastered it. So the artwork on this one is a little bit dated. But I remastered issue 1 as well, actually. Just not as much of an overhaul. So we can look at this one. So he's got angel wings. This character is called the Liberator. And I have a whole playlist of drawings for these characters in my... here on YouTube, actually. If you go Jake Grave, Dead Liberty, or Jake Grave Bloodhunt, you'll see my playlist. So yeah, very much not Helldivers. No big bugs anywhere or Terminators. But, if you like Helldivers, maybe you might like it, because, there's It's like armor and guns and stuff, I guess. Okay. Hello, Habitual 3. Thank you. Yes, I have drawn. Everything you see here, I drew. Charlie. I'm sorry for the late responses, guys. I will read everyone's comments. Hi, I'm sad. Hello, Midwest. Best friend blew me off a few weeks ago. Still having grief. Blew you off, like, doesn't want to be friends anymore? Or just, like, is this a rough patch? Or are you guys not friends anymore? Because I would say, don't do backflips for anyone who doesn't deserve it. You know what I mean? People show you who's worth your time. And thank you, Animal. I can tell you're down to earth by the way you acknowledge everyone's comments, even the ones that are a little out there. Thank you, that's funny. But I would say, I do want to not just skip past this comment real quick. I want to say, first of all, thank you. I get anxious because sometimes I'm like, oh man, I'm taking too long in the comments. People are going to leave. But I feel like I have to. If someone took the time, I know you're a human being on the other end of the phone there, leaving a comment. And I'm grateful that people are here watching me, leaving comments. And it's like, if I was physically at a booth at Comic-Con or something, and someone said something to them, and if, I'm not going to look the other way and not acknowledge someone speaking to me. And, the least I could do is acknowledge, what people are saying. And, sometimes, listen and give someone some advice, some life advice as well, sometimes. Thank you, Alyssa. And thank you, Iron. I appreciate that. And thank you. Yes, detailed. It takes a lot of time, and I'm very consistent with it because, I've designed those weapons and the lore. Oh, man, the lore is like, I put so much story up in Dead Liberty. I've been writing that since 2012. Helldivers wasn't around. Someone's like, oh my god, I compared it to Helldivers one time. No, don't make that shit again. I'm kidding. No, but that's why I get so, I try not to, especially with the Nadir series, when people are like, oh, that looks like Helldivers. And I'm like, yeah, but Helldivers wasn't in the bedroom when I was making it. You know what I mean? That's the only reason. If I had inspiration from Helldivers, I wouldn't be so off-put by it. I think it's just that it contributed nothing to my story. And now I'm scared to get into Helldivers. I like Helldivers from where I'm at, but I'm an Xbox player, so I heard they brought it to Xbox, but I haven't been able to play it because I've been playing Xbox on my laptop on cloud because my basement is under construction. So that's a me problem at that point. But anyways, I'm scared to get into Helldivers now because then I can't say, oh, I have no Helldiver, inspiration or influence, not even subconsciously. I just haven't touched Helldivers at all. I'm much more of a Halo person. So I was always more scared of people saying, that looks too much like Halo. And so I've always, tried to say, how can I make it different from Halo, For the Nadir series, I was thinking about, medieval stuff and bringing it in and, kind of doing something of, a neo-Gothic, kind of thing with that. With Dead Liberty, it's much more grounded. Well, Halo's far, far future. Dead Liberty's 2083. My Nadir series is in a different universe than Dead Liberty. So you don't have to buy the Dead Liberty books to understand what's happening in Nadir. Nadir, again, for anyone who's just dropping in, is the free-to-read series. You can read that for free on the Graveyard Comics Facebook page or on my TikTok. And that one takes place in the year, 2200s. Okay. Okay. Alright. What pen do you use? Your art is good. Thank you, Vera. I use a lot of pens. And you do want to use a lot of pens. Unless you are using a dip pen, then you could just use that one pen, because that one pen can give you various lines. But I like to use a 0.3 micron for the main body, and then a 0.005 for the little details and the shading, the cross hatching. Because the hatching is not detail. that's rendering, because it's not a part of the character's design. It's just, a part of, the environment affecting the character. And it helps the comic or the drawing feel more finished, as it feels more solid with the shadows. And so I don't want to have the rendering compete and interfere with the details of the character. So that's why I use a really small line for that. Also, sometimes I got to get in there like the teeth or the eyes, and I need a small pen. So that's what I do. These fine liners use archival ink, which means that they're not going to fade, and these are like felt tip pens, so they got good nibs. Sharpie is probably not the best. If you're doing a quick sketch, as like an autograph or something, or a quick sketch for someone, that's fine. But like finished art, you definitely want to stick more with archival ink and these fine liners. You can do different brands, like this one's like Stadler. There's Copic, they're expensive, but Micron, the Sakura brand, most people use this one. It's affordable. They can range you from like 15, 20 bucks. You could get them just about anywhere from Walmart, Amazon. Everything's on Amazon. Any art store, Staples has them. So they're accessible. Even smaller than 005 is a 003. So I really like this one too. For the longest time, I didn't know this existed. I was just struggling with 005. Okay. I use a lot of different pens though. I most recently started using brushes. So I have, where is it? A sable hair sable hair brush. I like to use the number 2. I've used dip pens as well, but I'm really liking the lines I can get with this. You can see some of my latest posts I've done with brush. I'm grateful for people, artists like you. If everyone was like that, the world would be a better place. Thank you. Honesty, integrity, and respect are unfortunately getting harder to find. Don't ever change. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Animal. And though I agree with you, because I feel like I have figured that the root of evil is selfishness. And we live in a very me-first world where people just look out for themselves and satisfy themselves and their desires. This is why people, go to war. This is why people get cheated on. This is why people steal from each other. At the end of it, it's because they wanted something and they didn't care how that would affect the other person, and they consume you. Whether it's a friend that just takes from you, or someone who's bullying you, or someone who's making fun of you. They're all taking something. They're all selfish in that way. And, the most important thing you can do, I think, is if everyone was just a little bit nicer to each other, I believe the world would be a kinder place. Because this is a difficult world to live in, with sickness and war and all the issues. The least we can do is just respect each other, I have friends tell me in the past, they say, but Jake, no one owes you anything. And I say, fuck that. I say, no one, you owe someone respect. I say you can treat someone the way they treat you. I can match your energy. If you treat me with disrespect, then I can. But for me, I also say, be slow to anger. So for me, I don't just pounce on you if you disrespect me. The first thing I'm gonna do is probably laugh because I'm like, oh, cool, that's new. But in all seriousness, if someone upsets me, I think to myself, did this person mean to upset me? Did they know that would affect me? Or it could have been an accident. They don't know. And so be slow to anger, inform that person, and then if they do it again, now they don't have an excuse. Now you can judge them from that point. You say, okay, now what they did to me was deliberate. Now that's a whole different level of disrespect. than someone just, being a jerk or just upsetting you. So that's the way I see it. Me personally, I am religious, so I do try to, um, live by that. Uh, Forgiveness is hard, but it is liberating if you can manage to forgive someone. And at the end of the day, you got to focus on yourself. Protect your peace. Don't worry about the people who upset you. Worry about the people who make you happy. They're the people that deserve to be on your mind. You you give people power over you when you let something bother you. I had someone get upset at me for something and insult me, and I didn't pay it any mind because in my head, I don't know what I did to upset them, and if they wanted to communicate that with me, I'm willing to either apologize or explain myself, and maybe appeal to their better nature. But I'm not also gonna waste my time and fight with the person either. I got my own things to do. I rather focus on the things that make me happy. Um, but yeah, I wasn't upset. I could have been, but I wasn't. I thought it was actually kind of funny, to be honest. I was like, what did I do? Imagine I'm drawing like aliens and stuff, and imagine not liking me and I'm just here drawing aliens. Okay, let's keep reading the comments. And thank you, Kaylee. This is actually good art. New sub. Thank you so much, Kentucky. So I think you'd be happy to know, if you like the artwork, that there's narrative and stories to my works. This is Mars Attacks, so not this one, but I do have my own comics as well, my own stories, and a new project that I'm excited to announce soon. Okay. It's good to find a place to escape from all the troubles of society, and this is a good place to do it. Oh, YouTube? I love your comics, man. You created your own little world, and I appreciate it. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And I always like to encourage people to work on their own, whatever it is, not just art, or not just drawing, whether it's sports or music or even video games. If you love it, that's the meaning of life, is to take care of yourself, love the people that you love, and do what makes you happy, as long as you're not hurting anyone else, as long as it's not at the expense of anyone else. I'm just getting some shadow under here. Cool. Hello, Josh. And thank you. Yes, don't let others live rent free in your mind. Mars Attacks. Thank you, Rob. And thank you, Yolanda. I'm learning English, and see and hear native speakers help me a lot. So here I am. That's awesome. That's really cool. That's the other thing. I love, one of the coolest things about the internet, because I know it could be a cesspool of horrible takes, but one of the coolest thing about the internet is you get to meet people and see people and talk to people that you would have otherwise never encountered, before the internet. And like people from different states or even countries. And I respect anyone who can speak 2 languages. It is not easy to do, especially the older you get, because physically it just becomes harder to learn another language. Because when you're younger, it's easier to learn stuff because your mind is kind of more open. because as a kid, and you're a new human developing, you have to be able to take things in faster to sponge it, and that's why kids learn a lot faster. And that's also why, as an adult, in college and stuff, you're like, wow, in high school I was able to read like a whole chapter book in like a month. I like how their heat ray kind of looks like a water gun that you get from like the 99-cent store. Who are some of big? I can't talk. Who are some of your biggest inspirations? Definitely Tom McFarlane. Everything I've ever wanted to do, he's already beat me to it. I like to say. Um, Spawn is also really fun to draw. I have a whole playlist of Spawn drawings I've done. Kentaro Miura is also really great. The guy who did Berserk. I really love his stuff. I also really love Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee. So anyone from Image Comics, Mark Silvestri, Eric Larson, Willis Portacio. I also really love Mark Bagley. So I mainly love the 90s art styles. Greg Capullo I really love as well. He's one of my tops. Thank you, Jojo. Have you ever read, or anyone have ever read about All Tomorrows? I'm aware of it. I haven't read it, but I know what it is. this skull transform into a brain. Um, you know, that is really interesting. Whenever I see anything with like brain skull, especially like anything actually, but this is the Martian from Mars Attacks, and they just have these brains, these big brains. So it makes me wonder too. Do they have skulls? Is it like a hard, you know, is it a hard kind of flesh? I don't know. Since I didn't invent Mars Attacks, I can't really answer that. Okay, let's get a smaller pen so we can get some detail on this finger over here. It's gotta be soft. The globe for protection. I mean, in their own spaceship, we've seen them without the dome here. I think this is just more for their nitrogen that they breathe. Because on Mars, I don't think they wear the domes. I don't think they even wear the spacesuits. I think they just wear a red Speedo on Mars. Or they just go buck naked. I think it's a brain that has grown a chin. I think in the movie, I think we actually do see an x-ray of them. But I can't remember for the life of me if it had a skull under it. A skull under your brain would be kind of dumb. All Tomorrows is great. A great masterpiece about biology, humanity, the universe. It's amazing, and all the images in that book are so cool. I have seen some of the artwork, yeah. I'll have to look into it again. Because I've definitely watched also like video essays on it too. In the spaceship or on Mars, they don't have any threats. Yeah. I think their issue was that their planet was dying, and that's why they came over to Earth. Do you think humans will ever physically live on Mars? Like if they got terraformed? I think realistically, the only way humans can live on Mars, at least for now anyway, would be like biodomes. But there's a whole bunch of things when we're talking about space travel that come into factors. Um, but I don't know if we could terraform it. Not anytime soon. I think it would take like a really, really long time to terraform it, and a million things could go wrong as far as terraforming. You get some shadow under here, a little cast shadow from this kind of these tubes that are on his spacesuit. Do you think our species came from another planet? It's interesting to hear all these conspiracies and people's views. For me, I am religious, so that does affect some of the things as far as you know that goes. But I do believe in evolution in animals. I just don't believe it in humans. I do think that humans are an exception in that way. Um, because I'm very science based in these things of like looking into evolution and looking at space and science. Science is just objective truth. But I see science as, the more I study science, the more I look into it, the more I believe in God, which is another thing I should say. I don't tell people what to believe in, you know. We'll all find out when we die, and we'll die at some point. Nobody remembers this movie. I don't think anyone remembers the cards. I don't think anyone even like half the time I see people, they don't know that they were cards originally. Yes, I am Christian. I have to sleep. Keep that good work. Greetings to you, and greetings to anyone in the chat. Thank you, Kent, and good night. Thank you for dropping by. Hello, Angie. Did I say your name right? Can I ask what markers are you using? Right now I'm using pens. These are called fine liners. This is Sakura, the brand, Micron. So I'm using a 005 for these small details back here and hatching and rendering and my shadows. But for the main form, I like to use a 03 for the main form. And so with these different line sizes, you can get different effects as far as getting in little details like in the eyes, or the shading without interfering with the line art and details of the character themselves. And if I was drawing smaller things in the background, like I'll use a smaller pen, so that way we can have line weight variation, and that kind of helps give us a more three-dimensional feel. What was the one before? Oh, this is Stadler. This is also another fine liner. You don't the whatever brand you like, there's different brands, but they're fine liners. They got felt tip points. I like to play around with different brands. I'm using this one. This one's a 01, but Microns also come in 01 as well. Micron, I think has like the widest range. Like they even have like 003, which is even smaller than 005, and I don't know if any other brand has a 003. I also see like a 03 typically runs a bit smaller than other brands, which I like, so I could get more detail in. Stadler, Faber-Castell, Copic, there's a whole bunch of different brands, but Microns are like the most popular, and you can get them just about anywhere. How did you do that? Stick around and you'll pick up some tips as I explain my process, but I would say, as I go, I kind of explain certain things as far as why I do things, deliberate, intent. Have you used any type of pens before where you like, oh, I've used those, I just didn't know what they were? They have a felt tip point, and they use archival ink, which is different from like Sharpies. Like these are going to stay a nice consistent black. Have you ever read the Book of Enoch? I haven't read it myself, but I'm very aware of a lot of the things in it. I've watched a lot of videos reading it, talking about it, and I think it's really interesting. I do feel like there's some truth, within it, as far as it definitely adds context to a lot of things in the Bible. Now, with things like the Book of Enoch or the Lesser Key of Solomon, I think you just have to take certain things with a grain of salt, because it's not written the same way as things that are canon within the Bible. But, it's really fascinating stuff, how well it fits with the Bible in certain areas, especially when talking about things such as the Nephilim. Me personally, I believe that some of the stuff has been left out, because when it comes to the demonic, the more you learn about this stuff, the more you open your mind spiritually to, spiritual encounter. And especially with the Lesser Key of Solomon, that was like literally talking about how to invoke spirits and stuff like that. It's not a shocker why they wouldn't want that to be something that is around for people to have access to. You know what I mean? Yes. Okay, yes, you have. Of course, I'm happy to help out with any art questions, especially like supplies and stuff, like what paper to use, what pens and stuff like that. Because, I think it's also exciting when you go home and you're like, I'm ready to start my comic. I got my Bristol board. I got my ink. I got my white ink. And some people, you just, wait, there's white ink? All this time I've just been burning my drawings when I make a mistake. You could use white ink? Yes, white ink. There are a bunch of different things you could do in case you make a mistake. It's really refreshing to see someone hand drawing rather than an iPad. I'm old. No, but I think I think for me, digital art is definitely valid. It is an art form. It is a tool though. It's a special type of. It's a different tool. Now I do say you don't want to depend only on digital drawing, because there's certain things where you have to sit on a, like a booth or something, or make someone artwork or whatever, or commission or something, and you don't have access to that, where power goes out. I don't know, but and then you can't like, oh, I can't draw without my iPad. Like, I don't. I think also it would just make you a better artist in general to master um, traditional and then go to digital. And then you don't have to do edit undo so much. But like for me, professionally working with Dynamite Comics, I'm a sketch artist, so I do sketch cards and sketch covers. That is done on tangible cards. The recipients of these cards, oftentimes they're Kickstarters. For the sketch covers, some of them are going to be, or at least the Warner Bros. Ones, were blind bags. And so the recipient gets original artwork. I couldn't tell Dynamite Comics and say, sorry, I only work digitally, or else they would get a different person. But here's my samples for the next project with Dynamite Comics. They're working with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the IP holders of that. So these are my samples. So if they get approved by Dynamite and the people at Rudolph, then I'll be making a whole bunch of those hand-drawn. And I'll have to color those, and this is what those would look like colored. So here's my color samples. I printed them a little too big, but these are copies of those originals. Now, what I would be working on is a light box. When, let's say I have to draw 30 of these, I would get the card that they send me, I'd put it on top, put the light box on so the light shines through it, and then I'll trace over the parts I could see, which would be really hard to do because they'll say something on the back in really thick ink, like congratulations. And so then what I'll do is I'll just eyeball the rest. I can actually show you what some Dynamite cards look like, because I had some leftover ones that I get to keep. So these are what those look like. These are my Red Sonja ones when I was working on Red Sonja. These are my Pope Leo ones when I was working on Pope Leo. I had some Transformer ones that are somewhere. I'm wondering why they're not with these. I'll have to look for those later. Yes, we got... Are you speaking Martian? Say act. Okay. It's all up to interpretation, but I ultimately have to go to sleep. Responsibilities. Yes, of course. And thank you, Animal. Bless you as well. I'm sorry I saw your comment so late, so I hope I got to say goodbye. I could be talking to myself right now. Okay. Mars Attacks. Yes. This one is a commission. Even though Mars Attacks, they do have comics with Dynamite Comics, and most recently a crossover with Red Sonja. I will be getting sent another 20 books to do sketch covers for. I'm hoping there's something Mars Attacks in that. One of the ones I got to do was the Terminator. That was really fun. I was excited for that one. And thank you, Tuller. Hello, Harry. Doomslayer. Doomslayer is on my list. I'm definitely not going to have time to do it on this one. Once I finish this, I'm going to be hopping off. It's getting kind of late. It's almost 3 a.m. But I have a ton of Doom drawings, of the demons specifically. So if you check my Doom playlist, I've drawn like a lot of the demons. But this was before Doom, the Dark Ages. So I need to do more Doom drawings because we got some new demons with Doom, the Dark Ages. I just beat that not too long ago, and started playing Heretic, which is really fun. Hello, Farid. Mars. Just saw your comment. I was trying to get some of the ink in here. Thank you, CRX. Chillo. Thank you, Marcus. I'm glad you guys like it. Farid's comments kind of remind me of those people that just like say random things when they're like typing with an AI chat or something. Mars not take care about you never. But I'm the idiot? Let me try reading that a second time. Mars not take care about you never. That was a rough sentence. Okay. I agree. I don't like the news. I'd rather just be working on my own stuff. You know, we're kind of fucked either way. I'm from The good old red, white, and blue. How could you tell? My star-spangled blood shining. Australian? No, I'm American. Where are you from? I gotta say, it looks like English is not your first language, so respect to you for that. Pepper. Pepper? What are we talking about, peppers? Are you a kangaroo? Oh, am I? I'm not Australian. Where's he going? I'm not Australian. Do I sound Australian? I know that accent was terrible. Right here we have a Martian. One blast for that Roy gun and you're done. Also, kangaroo is spelled with a K. Addicted to the Mars attacks look? Is that what you're saying? Bonzers. Yes. Yes, so what? I Australian have this stories. Australians start with an A. Randomly popped by. But Mars attacks. Thank you, Starfighter. Thank you for dropping in to say that. Yeah, Mars attacks is really fun. They're also really fun to draw. The Martians. Hello, Airheads. I answered DMs on Instagram. And that's Shade Ninja Ace with underscores after Shade and Ninja. I can write that down if that's complicated. Are you an artist? I want to make a joke so bad, but I'm gonna say yes. I wanted a joke. I wanted to make a joke. I wanted to be like, nah, I was just doodling and I got lucky. Hole in one. Oh, I said I dig Mars attacks. Oh, okay. It says it autocorrect to addict, the Mars attack. I don't mean I know typos happen to everyone. I don't mean I'm not trying to rag on you for that. And thank you, Starfighter. I'm glad. The reason I haven't inked the mouth is because I'm not sure if I want to bring his teeth up a little bit. So I might do that off the live. So I'll just kind of focus on the other areas. I should do some more Mars attacks drawings. Especially because I have to sadly part with this one as this is a commission. My baby's gonna have a new home. I'm a little addicted to Martians. I'm a little addicted to UFOs. There's always a UFO hidden in my artwork. I love that. I really love like alien stuff as well. Sometimes I'll hide like little things like that too in my comics and stuff. I do without spoiling some of my books and stuff, I do have little Easter egg kind of stuff with like UFOs and things like that. I'm trying not to spoil my stuff. I have a free-to-read comic series you can read on the Graveyard Comics Facebook page, or here, we're not on TikTok, or on my TikTok, in the Nadir Archives playlist. Again, that's a free-to-read series, and it is like a sci-fi war type of story. Very futuristic. Okay, so I think we're done on the live for today. I think that's all we got. I'll fix the mouth off the camera. I'll do that off the live, especially because I want to do the brain textures and stuff. So I'm gonna look at a picture of what the Martians look like, just so I make sure I draw the coils of the brain in the right way. The girl's head on the Chihuahua ball. That's funny. That's also really gross. Do it like a grayish. What, the mouth? Okay. Alright. So let's start getting the goodbye music playing, as I like to play some. What did I draw here on the billboard? I drew something. I don't remember. Let's just add. Oh, let's put hamburgers. There we go. How did you know I was American? Okay. I like the Martian in the sparkly red dress. Was that the what's he called? The administrator? I forgot what he's called. Ambassador. Was that the ambassador? Or he had like that cape? And then there was the purple one. That was like the prime minister. Do you do this often? You mean the lives or content, like drawing and stuff? I have tons of drawings. A lot of the posts I'm posting here on YouTube are things I've posted on TikTok first. So I like make my I record my stuff. I'll post it on TikTok, and then I'll post it on YouTube. So TikTok gets it first. Typically I do lives on TikTok, but lately I've been kind of jumping between TikTok and YouTube. I let the Discord know where the live is going to be, so we do have a Discord. The link is in the bio on my TikTok for the Discord. I really need to get a way to post the Discord link here on YouTube. We have the coolest people on Discord. A lot of I like lost my train of thought. But you could post your own artwork in the general art channel, and then fan art of my characters and stuff like that go in the Graveyard fan art channel. I have a free-to-read comic series you could read on the Graveyard Comics Facebook page, or on my TikTok in the Nadir Archives playlist. Nadir Archives is my anthology series. I have a couple stories out within it. That's Sleepwalker, Silver Cord, Operation Judas, and Section 6 Part 1 and 2. I'm also working on Part 3. Every 5 pages or so that I complete, I'm posting it on TikTok and on Facebook. So a couple of those have been posted. I'm hoping I could get more of that out. But when I finish Section 6 Part 3, I'm going to put all of them out in a collected edition, a printed book. That'll be on Amazon. So I have a couple of books on Amazon. That's my Dead Liberty series and Blood Hunt. Blood Hunt is in the same universe as Dead Liberty. But you don't have to buy Dead Liberty and the published books right now to understand what's happening in the free-to-read series, because that's a different universe. Okay. Hello, Pow Pow Princess. Biggest influences are Mobius, John Servin, Bernie Wrightson, and the Master Ed Roth. The Alien. The Martian. But yes, Alien as well. Mobius. Why does that sound familiar? I like The Martian in this work. Okay, read that. Okay. The Honeypot Martian. Are you talking about Mars Attacks? Or are you talking about, like, the Flatwoods Monster? I think you're talking about Mars Attacks. Okay. Alright. Who is that? This is the Martian from Mars Attacks. 3 to 4. Dageston? Okay. Let me just write down somewhere that I answer my Instagram DMs. Let me just write that real quick. I only answer my DMs on Instagram because it makes it easier for me to keep track of who I'm talking to. You know, I could scroll up, see who, what the last thing we spoke about was, and see who we are. But all my other accounts are just flooded. The DMs are flooded. I feel like it wouldn't be as effective, you know, to answer DMs anywhere else. Because then, you know, I think it's just more fulfilling if I know, remember who I'm talking to. Okay. Some of these peeps on YouTube type with their eyes closed. That's funny. Okay. So let's get our goodbye music ready. I'll just move that over. And we'll finish that guy off camera. Thank you for... Okay. Let's get our song. Take a sip of my drink. We'll say our goodbyes.
It's the personal price plan theorem.
Yes, it's 3 a.m., so I have to get going. Alright, now I have a project that I'm working on. I'll announce it here. So YouTube is going to hear it first. I'm going to be working on a trading card set of story cards. And so it'll have artwork on the front and a story on the back. And it's going to be 2.5 by 3.5. So standard trading card size. And so they could fit in your sleeves and stuff like that if you get sleeves for them. And I'm really excited about that. So I'm working on a 5 by 7 scale. And then we'll scale them down when I make those cards. And it'll be 55 cards. So upcoming lives, you might catch me working on that. That's going to be like a dark fantasy, medieval kind of story. So I can't wait for you guys to see that. I know most people know me for my sci-fi stuff. So I hope people would like the medieval stuff as well. Hello, Ranjan. I hope I said your name right. And you're in India? That's so great. It's so cool meeting people from different countries. That's always so fascinating. Hello, Mystery Man. It was nice meeting you. I hope to get to see you in stream. Thank you, Starfighter. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, maybe I have to do more lives on YouTube then. Because I typically do them on TikTok, but we have a pretty nice live here on YouTube. Very populated this time. And thank you, Mystery Man. I appreciate that. I have a whole bunch of drawings, so and my own comic series, and I'll be posting a lot as well. So you'll be seeing a lot of shorts. I've posted a lot of shorts, a lot of my stuff from Instagram. I mean TikTok. Let's show you guys the artwork before I leave. So YouTube is seeing it first. Let me go get that real quick. So here's the first card I worked on. Here's the pencils for it. I drew this earlier today before I came on the live. And I will ink it, and then the cards will be in color, but I'll be digitally coloring that. So here's the first one. So it's like a medieval story. And that's the main character, and he's this king. So this was the first card I've done. And if I can just take a quick moment just to describe the plot simply. Basically, he's kind of tasked with killing off the remaining dragons. Now there will be some other creatures and stuff like that too. Um, I typically, as far as like fantasy goes, I'm not really big on a lot of the classic type of fantasy stuff. I'm much more of a dark fantasy type of element, you know. Think more in line with something like Berserk or Dark Souls than Dungeons and Dragons or even like Lord of the Rings. I'm glad you like that, Mystery Man. So I'm thinking I'll have a few of these because it's gonna be 55 in the set. So I'm sure I'll be working on some on future lives, whether it's inking or drawing. I might bring this one to work with me to ink, so I'll save because it looks tedious. This is a pretty complex scene, but on lives, I think I'll do maybe some of the action scenes on lives. With this one, kind of the details being kind of small, it'd be hard for me to kind of work on that on the live because I have to get my face like really close to the paper, and I don't want my face to be in the camera. So I'm glad to see that you guys like that. And there will be some cool stuff. I'll show you guys as well. I have this. This is like a lizard person. So that's like pencils. This one was just on a blank index card that I got at Five Guys. I was eating at Five Guys and I just started drawing it. Maybe I'll ink that at some point, but these are done on cardstock, so they're kind of thinner than some of the other cardstocks, but it could also be that they're bigger. This is 5x7. Goodbye, Mystery Man. Thank you for dropping by. Okay. This is my brother Ethan's combined Seb. Okay, so your brother's here too? That's so cool. That's the best way to help me out is like letting people know I exist. I know some people were saying like, "Oh, you're so underrated. How come you don't got so many likes?" No one knows I exist. So sharing, letting people know I exist is definitely the best part, the most helpful thing for me, and I don't feel as bad because it doesn't cost anyone anything to kind of like, if you know someone that likes sci-fi stuff or medieval stuff, you're like, oh, this artist draws that, or if your friend likes to draw, direct them to my lives. Sometimes I on a live I'll do like tutorials and stuff, so I think that's cool. This will be awesome. Detailed when reduced to 3x5" gloss. I'm not sure if I was gonna do gloss paper. Maybe I forgot what I wrote down. But is that what the standard is? I think I'll try to stick with whatever is the standard. So if gloss is standard, then yeah, it'll probably be gloss. But yes, it is getting scaled down to 2.5 by 3.5. And again, this is 5x7. And thank you, Darian. I appreciate that. I always get a little self-conscious when it comes to my medieval stuff, because like people know me for drawing like guns and pouches and super soldiers, superheroes, supervillains, and monsters and aliens and stuff like that. So when I come and I draw some medieval stuff, I'm like, I hope people like it. But I have been met with just overwhelming positivity when it comes to the medieval stuff. Like a lot of people are telling me they like it, and I have done some proof of concepts where I've just done these really big medieval drawings in my sketchbook, and I regret drawing them in my sketchbook. I wish I drew them on like Bristol board instead of sketchbook, but it's fine. Thank you, happily watching. I was just scrolling on live streams and then you popped up and my jaw dropped. Thank you so much, Mumsy. I really appreciate that. And so when I make this a small regular sized card, like natural standard card, when you turn it over, it'll have like a paragraph. So they'll be numbered. It'll be like 1 through 55, and each one will tell a story about the scene and what character. Cool. All right, cool. So who knows when maybe. I don't know if I could go live tomorrow. We got to see about this blizzard and how snowed in we are. But yeah, I'll be working on more of those. I can't wait. Just to go over some other stuff real quick as we're ending the live. I have a free-to-read comic series you can read on the Graveyard Comics Facebook page, or here on the TikTok, or not TikTok, over on my TikTok on the Nadir Archives playlist. Um, that is a much more sci-fi war story, so, guns and armor and stuff like that. I also been working with Dynamite Comics, so I've been working on sketch cards for them, and most recently sketch covers. Upcoming, I'll be doing another 20 sketch covers. So here on YouTube, you're probably seeing my latest posts are covers for comic sketch covers. That's with Dynamite. Here are my samples for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which will be our next project at Dynamite Comics, that I'm affiliated with. Okay, cool. So that's my projects. That's what I'm going to be working on. Discord link is over on my on my TikTok. The link is in the bio there. Hello, the Sydney. Of course I would say hi. The only thing is I have to give you the buy one get one free combo and say goodbye because we're ending. So hi and bye. The gloss cardstock is shiny on the front and shows your artwork really well when you print to the back. It's usually flat, just like a normal baseball card would be. Interesting. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Yes, I'll keep that in mind. Okay. Alright, guys. So, thank you so much. Once I ink that, that'll be fun. Here's the Mars attacks we were working on earlier. I think we'll end on this one. This one was a commission. So, I'll finish this off the live and put that in an envelope to send out. So, yeah, thank you so much, everyone. It was a very fun live. I had a lot of fun on this live. I like to say thank you for reading my comics, watching my videos, watching my lives, and staying as long as you do and talking and coming into these lives. And some of the people following me over from TikTok, thank you for following me across platforms. Like that's a lot to ask of people, so I really appreciate that. I put a lot of work and time into my books and my stories, and it takes a lot of time to draw, and I've really put a lot of thought into the craftsmanship of my writing and the construction of the layouts and hidden details and stuff like that. So I really appreciate that people are liking the stuff that I put my blood, sweat, and would be tears if I could cry. And so, with my thanks, I like to make the last thing on a live that I say be something more devoted to you guys, and be something that if you take away anything from hanging out with me on this live, I want you to not give up on the things that you like to do. And I want you to feel the way I feel when I'm showing off my stuff and people are, complimenting me or excited for my projects or want to see what happens next. And they're like, where can I read that? Where can I buy that? Where can I follow you? It's the greatest feeling knowing that, you've isolated yourself to work on something and then you come back and you see it's worth it, that you see people like it. That's such a rewarding feeling, especially because, I think art is meant to be experienced. Books are meant to be read. So you were the other half of my creation. This process of me making something is fulfilled and finished, finalized, when a viewer, gets to experience it. So with that, don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on what it is that you like to do. Keep working on the things that you love. Because you love it is justification enough to do it, as long as you're not hurting anyone. So, thank you, Airheads. So again, that was my Instagram. That's where I answer DMs. For anyone who's also here in the chat, I'll just leave that there, like that. Okay. So, as I like to say, make it because it doesn't exist, and do it because you love it. Enjoy the rest of your night, and good night, Spectres.